KBOB 89.9 would like to say thank you.
2Dawgs, are you ready? Breakdown raw, breakdown raw, breakdown raw. Sports talk, you want it, you gon' get it. Hot news and views custom fitted. Joining yo, talking plus they live it. Fun and laughs, they gon' give it. Matchups for the week, this your spot. Never fumble the ball, always call. 2Dawgs, bark plus they bite. There's the bell, let's start the fight.
There we go. Now we can talk. So, Drone is under the weather, so Yo's gonna hold down the fort. We starting off our football high school roundup. We supposed to have 3. I got 2 in the building. I got Rogers and Central in the house. So we're gonna get right to the business. Coach Adcock, Coach Shaw, y'all in the building. It's football time. It's time to almost start strapping up helmets, putting on shoulder pads, and just get down to this Oklahoma drill. But that's in about 2-3 weeks away.
We still got a couple weeks.
We got a couple of weeks. And we're going to have, how do I... there we go. So, Coach, we're going to get right to it. Coach Adcock.
Yep.
Y'all was 6-5 last year.
6-4.
6-4.
Mm-hmm.
And so y'all was 3-4 in district play.
Well, that's a good question. So 3. Last games it was 7. So 3-4. Yeah, 3-4.
3-4. So you started out hot. You ended. District play probably caught up with you. Everybody's getting to scouting you. You got enough tape on you. So what this year can y'all make that jump to be to start the season on fire and end the season on fire?
Well, if I ever have the pick of starting or ending on fire, it'd be to end on fire.
Right.
Starting on fire doesn't really mean anything because those first 3 games are meaningless anyway in the grand scheme of things. But that's kind of what we've been stressing the last 7-8 months is let's make that jump. Okay, we think we have the kids that we can do it. Now, at the end of the day, the kids got to go and do it. But that's everything our summer's been geared towards. Our spring football was geared towards. Our whole off season all the way back to December was geared towards is making that jump and trying to do something special this year.
Okay, Coach Shaw. See, we seem like your team, we know they have the talent. How can we make that next jump to make playoff run and stay consistent? Because y'all stay in every game, but then the end of the third, fourth quarter, y'all start making minor mistakes that cost y'all ball games, holding penalty to get y'all out of scoring range, just minor stuff. So how can we get over that cliff and make the playoffs?
That just has to come down to sticking to following your discipline, following and keep getting the whole game long. There comes a point when you get tired and you kind of want to start doing your own thing. And we have to keep from doing that and keep going. You know what I mean? You're right. We have some talent. A lot of people forget. They said we had a lot of seniors last year, but we had a lot of seniors that didn't play much football before they came to Central. And so, we had
IQ was lacking.
Well, I don't want to say IQ, just experience.
Okay.
You got 13 seniors, but out of those 13 seniors, probably 4 of them played more than 2 or 3 years of football. So, it's kind of the same way this year. We've got an inexperienced team, but a lot of these young people have played more football than those seniors did last year. So we're hoping, like Coach said, spring, what we've taught them this summer, the camps we went to, hopefully they've learned and they understand what we've been stressing.
Okay, Coach Adcock, who's the players that's going to stand out in your program this year?
Going to stand out. Obviously, the quarterback does. Giovanni Pete, my running back who's returning from last year, Isaac Arcee. Got quite a few guys back on defense. My big DN, Josiah Hammond. He's looking. We're pretty excited about him this year. Hoping to do some big things with him. Desmond Lee, Andrew Ivory, another kid returning from last year. Especially in the back end with Desmond Lee. He's new back there, but he is, like he said, he has football playing experience, but he hadn't played a whole lot of that. He had a really good spring back there. Pretty pumped about him. All 5 offensive linemen are back.
That's a good thing.
For me, it is. Yeah, I'd prefer to have that every year, but that's very rare. But I'm pumped about that. New tight ends come in. The 2 of them had a really good spring, so I'm pretty excited about the group.
Okay, Coach Shaw, same question. Who's going to be your outstanding players?
I'm like Coach. I've got 4 of my 5 offensive linemen back. That's really exciting. We've got a big left tackle that we're excited about, Denzel Reed. We've got a left guard, Keviante Walston. Anytime you can talk about your offensive line and being experienced and coming back and doing what they do. I've got a big defensive end that can run and make things happen in Aiden Guess, who's getting a lot of attention. He's also a big-time receiver for us as well. We're pretty good at safety with Chase Rowland, pretty good at corner with Amarion Penny. We've got some experience and some guys that are coming back. I'm trying to think. Got a little Chase Taylor, a little receiver that transferred from Owasso that's been doing pretty good for us and exciting. Even our quarterback, he's kind of grown. He's still a little green out there, but we're excited with Trey Pope and what he can do for us. Somebody that's going to get a few years under the belt instead of having somebody there that's 1 or 2 years. So we're anxious to see, just put it all together and see what these young men are going to do for us this year.
Coach Montgomery, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I'm on here.
Okay, I'm glad you could actually join us. This is Coach Montgomery from the Bixby Spartans, the defending undisputed state champs, 6A1. Coach, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
How do you maintain the fire and the discipline to keep your streak alive and keep your tradition going?
I think the biggest deal is that we're just consistent. We don't rely on rah-rah speeches or anything super fancy. Our kids do a good job. Our staff does a good job, and we come to work every day, and we just try to consistently do what we do and commit to our process, and hopefully just get a little bit better every single day.
Okay, I have one more question before I get back to Coach Adcock and Coach Shaw, and then I'll come back to you. Your players that you're looking forward to this season.
Yeah, we've got a lot of guys that we're excited about for sure. And I would say that it all starts with our defensive line. We've got 3 or 4 really returning starting defensive linemen. Our nose guard, Justin Kerr, Brandon Hobbs, our defensive end. Cason Hatley, Peyton Hawkins, all those guys rotated in on our front three last year, and we're dominant. They're 350-pound bench pressers. They're fast. They're tenacious, and they've got some snaps under their belt. So we're excited about those guys, and also quite a few other of our front seven guys, linebacker Hank Puckett and outside linebacker Jet Turner, Sam McCormick, and we got a pretty good nucleus. A lot of holes to fill, but good nucleus to build on.
Okay, Coach Adcock, your most improved player, the player that's made the biggest jump from last season to this season.
I do have a couple. I mean, it's early in the process, but my center, Lachey Harden, which is Owens' nephew, he got better over spring ball and moved in positions.
Okay.
I think even my returning running back, just getting the reps throughout the spring, kind of seeing it now for a second time. He definitely made a huge jump in the spring. The big D end I got, Josiah Hammonds, he didn't get to play last year. He was ruled ineligible. So he didn't really get that game experience last year, but he showed up in spring ball and had a really good camp and really good practices, and he got way better as well. So there's a few.
Okay. Coach Shaw, most improved player, who did made that jump from last season to this season?
I'd say I've got two, like Coach. It'd be my two running backs. R.J. Ryan, who was a freshman last year, who carried the ball a couple times, was really showed – was really exciting, and this year has just been really great through camps and through spring ball and everything. And then young man that came to us from Booker T, Sire Green, has just been unreal. We've been really impressed with him. So, I'm anxious to see what they can do when the season starts. I just seeing their growing and their maturation through this process in this summer and watching them work in the weight room has just been kind of, exciting. So I'm waiting to see how that transfers to the field.
Coach Montgomery.
Well, I think we've got a couple of offensive linemen. We've got three returning starters, and one of those guys that just grew all during the season last year and then really had a good team camp and is doing good things, Evan McClure. He's got the ability to play all three positions up front, center, guard, or tackle, and did so in team camp. And then also a guy, Alfonso Villasenor, a kid that is vying and competing for a center position for it, is just kind of a quiet, keep his nose down and work his tail off every single day. And so looking at a couple of those offensive linemen, and we always have a couple of senior offensive linemen that really step up and be good football players for us.
Okay. I have a question for all of y'all. Football is a gladiator sport. What do y'all do to try to make it safe as possible and not get your kids in a harmful situation so y'all can keep them healthy and maintain a going growth for the sport, but still keep them safe? Coach Adcock, we'll start with you.
So I think every kid wants that big hit, that knock them out hit. I think you got to go back to teaching them how to tackle, why they got to tackle this way for the safety of the game, for their safety as an individual. Once you teach them the technique and how to do it, then you got to rehearse it in practice. I mean, repetition. You got to get it. And so for fall camp, we'll spend the first, 7-8 practices, and we'll do it every single day. And it's just basic, pounding in their head the whole time, so they get their head out of it. So and there's a lot of resources out there that teaches it, the proper tackling techniques to keep your heads out of it. At the end of the day, it's almost impossible to keep your head out of it 100% of the time. So
True.
Just keep them educated and keep them practicing the right way.
Coach Shaw.
I'm like Coach. You have to keep teaching the proper technique. You have to keep growing. I learned a long time ago. I didn't invent this game. I wasn't in the first huddle. So I try and relay that to my coaches. I think we keep trying to learn as well. So that way we keep teaching the proper technique. We try and clinic in the springtime. We try and go to the coaches convention. We try and learn as much as we can. I try and make them uncomfortable. That way they're comfortable when they're teaching our players. I think the one thing with kids nowadays is you have to teach them more. They watch too much TV, play too many video games. So you have to spend a lot of time teaching them the technique and the right way to do things to, for us to keep this game growing and keep it going the way it needs to go.
Coach Montgomery.
For us, I'll hit on what Coach Shaw said, is we constantly try to find a better way or a safer way with hawk tackling, with rehearsing that every day in practice. And then I think the other thing we do is we understand that it's important to have your best players ready and available when you get to game time. And so we take, I guess you would say, calculated risks when we're practicing, when we're doing team camp. We never tackle to the ground in practice. We put our players in guardian caps. We try to limit contact and be thud speed as much as possible, just so we don't have those everyday blows to the head or ankles rolled up and things like that, because there's a reason that first team guy is the first team guy and the second team isn't. And so just anything that we can do. And then to add on that, our strength and conditioning program, we do a ton of preventive maintenance work, whether it's neck, whether it's knees, whether it's hips, to try to eliminate some of those soft tissue injuries that we have in football.
Okay, Coach Adcock, the size of your team, are y'all a very big squad? Are y'all a smaller squad? Are y'all extremely fast? What are your strengths?
So we're not a big team, especially in comparison to a lot of the 5A schools, but I would say that the core nucleus of our team, they're pretty big kids. Like I told you, we have a lot of returning linemen. I would say size-wise, not number-wise, we're probably bigger than average for a 5A team. Probably not the fastest team, but we're pretty big at most positions. Got a big quarterback, big O-line. Yeah.
Coach Shaw.
We're not. I'm kind of like Coach. We're not big number wise, but when I look out there, we're long. It's kind of how I say we're long kids. I've got good size D linemen, O linemen. I got some long receivers. I need them to be faster, but I'll say they're fast enough. They do what I need them to do, so they can get the job done for me.
Coach Montgomery.
We've got some big offensive linemen coming back this year, so we should have a good size offensive line. Our defensive line, as I mentioned earlier, those guys are all returning starters. They're all really strong, but they're all about 5'10". They're kind of fire hydrant type guys, and they're really active. They're really good. And then out on the edges, we're going to have some big, tall, long wide receivers. We're not going to blow you away with our speed at Bixby, but hopefully our guys are efficient and sound and look like they're well coached out there on the field.
So your offensive line, coach, for a 6A team, what is the average size of a lineman?
Well, if I had to do the math, I would say our offensive line this year is probably going to average about 250 pounds. That would be what I would say right now, just kind of guessing some of the guys that are going to fit in there, but it could be closer to 265, depending on one or two of the guys that end up winning positions.
Okay, Coach Adcock.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to look into the future.
Hey, let's do it.
Let's your season, how do you see it going?
I see us having a chance there at the end to get into the playoffs.
Okay.
Kind of where we were at last year. We're a game away. I think we'll be right back in that same position, and hopefully we've done enough to
from the off season
to turn that page and conquer that beast.
Okay. Coach Shaw.
I tell you what, I see it being exciting because my kids are young, but I don't think they know any better. It's exciting right now because you watch the energy in the weight room and the way they run around out there and when they work out. So, if we can take that and put that same energy when we put the pads on and we go out there on Thursday and Friday nights, hopefully it translates into wins. And like Coach said, when we get to the district, we do what we're supposed to do, and we get to the playoffs. You know what I mean? And we make some noise. So, my thing is, I'm big on competition. I just need them to show me they'll do that. Just get out there and compete. Like I said, I don't think they know any better, and that's what I'm anxious to see.
So using their youthfulness and enthusiasm, hopefully that'll give them a spark. So when they do get into those trenches, they'll have that same spark.
Absolutely.
Coach Montgomery, now we know you're the defending, undisputed state champs. How do you see your season going?
You're asking a bunch of football coaches this time of year when everybody's nervous and we don't know what we have going. But
that's definitely why I'm asking the question, Coach. That's exactly why I'm asking the question, Coach. Everybody's 0-0.
Well, basically after the 4th of July is football season. So
yes.
Everybody's starting to ramp up, nervousness and all that. But you got to have a little luck in football, whether it's injuries, whether it's players stepping up, how a team gels, their identity. And so I guess the big thing for us, we've got the talent to compete and possibly win a state championship, but it's how does this team mature and grow? And then also when I see the other teams in 6A, when we go to passing leagues or team camps or whatnot, there's a lot of talent out there on the field for a lot of these teams. And so it kind of boils down to who has the best team, which group works together the best, which group grows, which group matures as the season goes.
Excellent question. Coaches, I'm opening up the floor. Is there anything y'all would like to discuss? Anything that is that's on your mind? Anything that y'all think the SSAA could do better? I'm just gonna open up the floor. Let's talk.
It sounds like a good Coach Montgomery question.
Well, I've got enough problems here of my own, and so I'm gonna farm my own land and not look at anything like that. But we're excited about the football season and excited about some of the changes the OSSA has made recently with playing the state championship games at a central location, and I think they're trying to do everything they can to make football better. It's a changing landscape and changing environment as we see in college, and we get some of that trickle down at the high school level. So I think all of us have to work together to navigate that.
Okay, well, we're going to go on a quick break, and we'll be right back with the coaches for about another 20 minutes. So y'all stay tuned to 2Dawgs.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the all-new KBOB 89.9 FM, Black on Black Community Radio.
Hi, my name is Jeremiah Watts, the Community Development Director for Supporters of Families with Sickle Cell Disease.
And my name is Lindsay Corbett, Community Health Worker Director of Supporters of Families with Sickle Cell Disease in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like you, we are weary of this pandemic. Unfortunately, people of color are disproportionately affected by this virus. The COVID-19 vaccine has been shown effective, not in keeping us from getting the virus, but from hospitalizations and death.
So let me ask you, will you roll up your sleeve and get the vaccine? It's the best shot we've got at fighting this virus. Do it for your life, your family, and your community. To find out more information about the COVID-19 and how it's impacting Oklahomans like you and me, and to find out vaccination sites, go to vaxok.org. That is vax, VAX, OK.org.
How to order chicken wings. Number 1, find a good wing spot.
I know a wing spot, Max Wings.
Number 2, decide if you want a combo or if you want to order a la carte.
Huh? What's that?
Well, combos come with chicken, veggie sticks, fries, and a drink for a discounted price. A la carte means that you order each item separately.
Ah, okay.
3. Decide if you want bone-in, boneless, or cauliflower wings, and then determine the delicious flavor you want on your wings.
I didn't even know cauliflower had wings.
You learn something new every day. Have you been to Max Wings?
Yep.
Max Wings is located at 782 East Pine Street in Tulsa. We're open Monday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Come to Max Wings, home of the dry rub fries.
Hit a slam dunk like man up. Enemy salty ran up. It's a foul move and one. We say man. Jesus out all my life. I'ma shine bright as a light. I don't need diamonds to shine. I just keep God on my mind, dog. Giving my all to like sign, watch me clean like pine saw. Hey, I call God, yeah. Jesus, he the reason I be rapping, singing in the hood and trenches. I don't need a mention.
All right. 2Dawgs is back. We back. That was Trinity Trey back to back. You know how we do it. Now, I've seen some questions is being asked online. One is asking about the offensive line. All y'all talked about your offensive line, saying that is improved, and pretty much it's going to be the nucleus of y'all teams. So, are y'all going to be high scoring teams? You're going to be more defensive teams? I know district games are a little bit different because it's for the playoffs, and so are y'all going to condense your playbook, or are y'all going to expand the playbook when it comes district time?
Well, I'm an offensive line guy at heart and in body. I like to control the ball. I've never been a person that wants to go out and put 80 points, 90 points up. Winning's winning to me. I'll do whatever it takes to win. If I have to score 90 to win, then I'm going to try to score 90 to win. But like I said, in my heart and my body, I want to control the ball and hold that thing for as long as I can and do what I can with it when I need to do it, and then play sound defense, efficient defense.
Coach Shaw.
I'm like Coach. You know, I played DB all my life, and in college, learned offense. You know, when I started this track into coaching, and I love to see the ball fly through the air. But I know games are won up front, both offensively and defensively. Everything starts on the line. So if you got good offensive linemen and you got good defensive linemen, then you're going to be pretty successful. It doesn't take a smart man to know that if you're really, really good on defense, you're usually going to win football games. So I've always prided myself in making sure that, you know, I've always been able to be around good defensive coaches. You know, when I was a GA, the first thing my head coach made sure was I would learn defense as well as offense. So, you know, I'm real partial to offensive defensive line. You know, I mean, I kind of stand over my offensive defensive line coaches and watch what they do. That's how important it is to me.
Coach Montgomery.
Well, for me, I'm an offensive lineman as well, and I cut my teeth under a gentleman named Alan Trimble for about 10 years, and he always preached that you had to play defense, and when it came down to playoff time, when the weather was bad, you're going to have to run the ball. But I would say the way that we run the ball is not in the traditional way that I did cut my teeth with. We're going to tempo people. We're going to use tons of shifts and motions and confusion and speed and things like that. And even the last couple of years, we've gotten into a lot more quarterback run in order to run that football. It doesn't mean that we're not going to put it in the air. We're going to do whatever we have to score points. But the last couple of years, we've been fortunate enough to have the talent out there on the field to work and get those guys the ball, whether it's Cordell Goldsby who's coming back, or Brendan Presley, or Luke Krieger, whoever it is. We're going to find ways to get those guys the ball and be creative with it. But it always boils down in the big games in the playoffs that you have to convert on a 3rd and short or 4th and short, and you have to be able to run the ball at some point.
I like how all y'all think. Y'all are true football guys. When nobody coming on here, oh, yeah, we want to throw that pigskin. We want to see it in the air 30, 40 times. Now, all y'all the same thing. I'm an offensive lineman. We want to control the ball. You got to be able to get the 3rd downs. You got to be able to convert 1st downs. You got to keep them chains moving. I get it. So, saying that, football is probably the number one sport. How is it to maintain the enthusiasm, especially during off-season, spring, and summer ball, to keep that enthusiasm for fall?
For me and my program, it's the leadership of the team is kind of the pulse of the team. I heard can't remember if it's Coach Montgomery or Coach Shaw talk about big hoorah speeches, and those that know me, I don't give those either, unfortunately. The kids kind of keep the beat up and the excitement on wins, and even learning from losses. It's the leadership of the team, or that's the complete heartbeat and everything for my program.
I have to agree. Anybody knows me, knows I'm not a big rah-rah guy. I'm big on leadership, and I'm big with telling my guys that they don't have to be rah-rah either, kind of lead by example, get out there and work. Things are going to follow. I've got some real good assistant coaches. They've been with me since I've taken over. I've been fortunate. The kids, really kind of take to them and follow them, and they've kind of helped mold this program kind of where we're going. And so, they keep the excitement going, and the kids keep the excitement going. So, we've been pretty fortunate. It carries from, like you say, it's tough on these kids, spring, summer, it can kind of get dull in there. And if you're not careful, you can lose a few kids in the summer, and, you know how it goes. So, it's tough. So you've got to find ways, but, it's hard when you're not a rah-rah guy. You've got to come up with other avenues to, get your kids motivated and keep them around. But that's your job. So,
Coach Montgomery.
I'll just reiterate what Coach Shaw said. Football's hard, and no matter how you cut it, there are going to be moments that are unpleasant, whether it's practice, whether it's weight room, whether it's sprints. And so the guys have to enjoy being around each other. They have to enjoy being around the coaches. And so it kind of boils down to a couple of things for us. It boils down to relationships with one another, liking to work together with one another. And then another thing is we try to create moments for our kids, whether it's a big spring game with food trucks and things like that out, or our guys that have perfect attendance in the summer. I cook them up a steak at the end of the summer if they have perfect attendance. If they clean 225 pounds, they get a T-shirt and a sticker for their vehicle. Whatever it might be, we try to create different moments that make it impactful for our kids.
Okay. Another thing I know about football, you have to be family. You can't just be a team. You have to be a family. In order to compete at a high level, you have to be family. You have to look at your teammates as brothers. You have to look at your coaches as uncles or fathers. So does all of y'all, Coach Adcock, Coach Shaw, Coach Montgomery, is football family for y'all?
For us and the situations we have with the kids on our team, yeah. In my opinion, I know these two coaches say the same thing about their staff. I got the best staff. They're great guys, great men. They look after these kids, take them home, feed them. I do the same thing for all these kids. We're always there when they ever need anything from us. Just today, we were loading up our vehicles, taking them to get physicals. Just today, I mean, that's what you are. And that's what they view us as. Anytime they need anything, food, whatever. And there's been a lot of times I've taken kids home, and I bought a truck full of kids' food. I mean, it is what it is. And my staff, they embrace that, and they're the best in the business at holding these kids and treating these kids the right way.
And I'm going to reiterate what he said. It's just different. Our kids are different because you have to handle them a different way. You have to make them a part of your family. My team knows my coaches. They know my coaches' wives. They're around. Like Coach said, we'll pick kids up. We'll bring them home. We fed them. You do extra stuff. You treat these kids like you would treat your own kids. And a lot of the stuff that they do for you out of love, because they feel that they're a part of your family. You're showing them something that maybe when we grew up and played, we didn't have that same relationship with the coach that they have with us, because, in this day and age, your relationship with these kids is a lot different. It's not as cut and dry as it was when we came up playing ball. So, we have to handle it different. So you have to treat them like family, and it becomes more important to you. They're able to come in and share stuff with you that they don't share with that parent. A lot of them don't have dads. They're going to come in and tell you things that they don't want to share with mom or share with that uncle. You have to be that ear. And, I always tell people, I spent a lot of years coaching college football, but what I've done here at Central has been more rewarding than anything I've done before I walked through those doors. It just makes me emotional doing that. So I have a good time.
That's right.
Coach Montgomery.
And to answer that question, yeah, I think football is a family, and one of the best things about it is you can take guys from all different backgrounds, and I learned that especially in college when you go and you got guys from all over the country, all different backgrounds, races, sizes, whatever, and it's a bunch of guys working together for a common cause, learning about one another, working together, and just like every family, has an Uncle Bill or whatever that, might be a handful. It's that way on a football team. You don't gotta necessarily like everybody a whole lot, but you gotta love everybody and work together. And so I think football teaches kids lessons that you can't get in science class, or you can't get in other sports and other areas of life. And I think that's probably what caused, I don't want to speak for the other coaches, but that's probably what caused most of us to gravitate towards this profession.
Okay. That's what I've kind of figured. That's one thing, the difference between football and basketball is with football, those are your brothers. When y'all go out on the field, y'all got to be in one accord. The play is called. Everybody knows their assignment. Everybody has to function as one. Basketball is a little bit different. You can have the real big stud who can handle the ball, shoot the ball, pass the ball, and everybody else can play their role. Football, everybody's kind of equal, and you have to be a family on that field, or it doesn't translate into wins. So I applaud y'all all for the effort and for the sacrifices y'all make for your teams. Y'all are excellent men. I love every one of y'all, and it's a pleasure to be able to interview y'all, just to get y'all insight on some things, and for y'all to rep your program and your kids, because the local news to me doesn't do enough for high school football, and to give the kids the accolades and the time and the attention that they need. So I hope 2Dawgs is a way so we get to hear the players' names. We get to hear what they're doing. Something positive. There's nothing negative. It's all in trying to teach young men how to be men, how to be successful, and how to be able to handle adversity. So how do y'all handle adversity with your team and any issues that come up? Because I know no program is scot-free with no issues. I know that. So how do y'all deal with the conflict and try to keep them motivated and going towards the goal instead of them, veering off the path?
I think for us it's learning from the mistakes and doing everything within your power individually and as a team to not repeat those mistakes. I just think it's a ever learning process. Football is wins and losses. I mean, there's a reason you lost. There's a reason you win. Well, if you can keep learning from those losses, hopefully you start minimizing those losses. If you don't learn from what you did in those losses, and sometimes you're just outmanned. I mean, that happens in football. Sometimes other teams just better than you. Okay. But those teams that you're pretty evenly matched with, if you can limit the things that you did prior to them or a team that's comparable to them, and not make the mistakes over and over again. And it's even could be in a schoolhouse with grades. Maybe you did something bad in the classroom. Well, don't do it again. Learn from it. Apologize to your teacher. Be a man about it. Maybe you missed a summer workout. It ain't the end of the world. You're gonna make up for it, but let's not do it again. Let's not repeat it. Those kind of things. And I think that's what builds winning programs. People I've been around, that's what's been the secret sauce there.
Coach Shaw.
And I'm gonna amplify that. He's right. You have to get them to learn from their mistakes, and they have to understand, why did this happen? What caused this? And then that's where their relationship with you, and they're going to understand today. They're learning from you. You've always got their best interest at heart. This is, like you said, grades, whatever, even lessons in life, don't make that mistake again. So that's what's important, is always the continuous cycle of educating them, about football life, grades, whatever, is just going to make them better.
Coach Montgomery.
Yeah, and there are so many situations, as you mentioned, dealing with adversity. But I think the main thing is next play. Let's don't have bad body language. Let's not dwell on it. Let's learn from our mistakes, as Coach Shaw said, and move on to the next play. And for a big thing for us is preventive maintenance, so to speak. We're going to try to focus each day on one of our core values and give examples of what that looks like and what it doesn't look like in our program. And when somebody is screwing up, hopefully another one of their teammates has the ability to say, you know what, we don't do it that way here. And other than that, you have to take a lot of different situations very specifically, because everybody deals with a little bit different background when they come into a problem or an adverse situation.
Okay. Well, that's pretty much all the questions I have for all the coaches. Once again, I want everybody to give their name, give their school, and let's hear your first game of the season. Let's start with you, Coach Adcock.
Levy Adcock, Tulsa Will Rogers, and we opened the season up at Hall and Hall, or not at Hall and Hall, against Hall and Hall at home.
Kipp Shaw, Tulsa Central, and we open up with the McLean Titans at Central Stadium.
Oh, the backyard brawl. Coach Montgomery.
Loren Montgomery, Bixby High School, and we'll open up against Owasso Rams at Tulsa's H.A. Chapman Stadium for our first game.
Really? So y'all start. Yeah, is that a non-district? That's a non-district.
Battle of the Burbs. So we started that last year, and I think 23,000 people were at that game. It was a pretty good environment and a good experience for our kiddos to get to play in that environment.
Well, coaches, I applaud y'all. Thank y'all for coming in. Coach Montgomery, thanks for calling in. Just thank you. I thank you for being there for these young men in this area. We're trying to get all of the coaches from the surrounding areas, trying to get them all on 2Dawgs. This is just round one of football roundup. I applaud y'all all. I hope y'all all have a good season. I hope y'all don't have to deal with a lot of injuries. And I hope y'all all are successful. From the 2Dawgs, Yo and Drone and Trizay, we going to say peace. One love, one fight, one dog. We out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the all new KBOB 89.9 FM, Black on Black Community Radio. KBOB, the home of the Bobby Eaton Show, the Juice Radio Show, and 2Dawgs Radio Show.
Yeah. I do it big, okay? You better RESPECT me.
Tulsa, Oklahoma. Stay connected and call us now at 646-716-5525 and press 1 to go live.
Experiences of the community. At the Event Center, you can rent space for weddings, birthday parties, receptions, concerts, Greek events, quinceañeras, and much more. We also do custom decor, linen, and centerpieces. We're located at 1125 East 36th Street North. To book your next special event, business gathering, or community event, call us at 918-200-9046.
Hey, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Welcome to Black Wall Street Tees and Souvenirs, where you can get the best Black-owned T-shirts, apparel, and souvenirs right here in the heart of Tulsa. For more information, 918-523-0608 or shop online with us at bwstshirts.com. And we hope to see you soon.
Street. Woo! I remember slanging over CeeLo, eyes low but we woke. Rob Bates the runner, re-up clock peso. Second in Denver, pockets on bubbles. Single parent with my son, yet I stayed in some trouble. Man, steady racing, high speed chasing. Stayed in the courtroom trying to be the case. Then was complacent. My life was in
welcome back. That's Trinity Trade, Ill Street Blues. You know how we do it here on 2Dawgs. That was round one of Coach Roundup, football roundup. We're trying next week. I think we're having McLean, Booker T, Union, and Broken Arrow. I think is the four. I also have an announcement. The Juice Radio Show is going to Atlanta, Memphis, and Washington D.C., and they would want your support. You can cash app the Juice Radio Show at $ the Juice Radio Show cash app. They're going to July 28th to the July 30th. They'll be in Atlanta. They're going to NBC Studios, SAE Institute, the Civil Rights Museum, Martin Luther King's Memorial Center, CNN, World of Coca-Cola, Tyler Perry Studios, and University of Georgia College Tour. The 30th through the 2nd of August, they'll be in D.C. They're going to the National Mall, the Washington Monument, the White House, University of Maryland, University of Georgetown, the U.S. Capitol, the Washington Post, which is a newspaper, the Library of Congress, and some other sites, the Frederick Douglass Historical Site as well. And then the 2nd and the 3rd of August, they'll be in Memphis, Tennessee, and they're going to go to the House of Mincy Museum Bell Tour, and they're going to the Graceland Museum. So that's just a couple of things that they're doing. If you could cash app them at $ the Juice Radio Show at Cash App, $1, $2, anything is going to help those young men and women who are trying to be in this radio business and understand and learn the ins and outs. Now, back to the subject at hand, sports. We're going to talk about boxing for these last moments. Boxing. We got a big fight coming up of Earl Spence Jr. against Terrence Crawford. If you're on the 2Dawgs site, tell me who you think is going to win that fight. To me, it's pretty much a 50-50 fight. It's going to go down to who makes the less mistakes, and it's going to be probably the fight of this decade. We got two undefeated fighters with all the belts on the line. That's what boxing should be about. It shouldn't take so long for these promoters and stuff to get these fights scheduled for the public to see, because the public has been wanting this fight for about 4 years. We got a guy in the sideline waiting for a title shot, and he's 31-0 with 28 knockouts, and he can't get a title shot because all the belts are between two guys, Earl Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford. Boots Ennis wants to fight the winner, but only thing about that is the fight between Spence and Crawford has a rematch clause. If it goes to the cards, there's an automatic rematch clause in the fight. So they could have a trilogy of fights if no one gets knocked out. So that's 2 to 3 years we're going to have to wait for Boots Ennis to wait on the sideline, waiting to get his opportunity to win a title. We also got another big fight coming on, Charlo versus Canelo in September. I'm hoping Charlo beats Canelo because this is going to be Canelo's third loss. And so he's going to have 3 losses on it, but he's still going to be a Hall of Famer, and he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But to me, he's taken over the mantle that Pacquiao has left as the guy you have to fight to get paid. Because he has such a following, and wherever he goes, it's going to sell out the arena, and pay-per-view is going to be through the roof. I just wish that they wouldn't be trying to charge me $100 to watch this hour and 15 to 30-minute fight, but they want to charge you $100. There's no way it should be $100 to watch 2 fighters fight. I'm just saying. It's just ridiculous. But that's 2 good fights we got coming up. Also, the NBA, the Thunder is looking really good. Summer League, we're looking really good. I just hope this transitions into wins, and we're actually a 4 or 5 or 6 seed coming into the playoffs. I'm pretty sure we're going to go. 2Dawgs is going to watch Central play because we're going to probably be at the Central homecoming for sure. We're probably going to watch the Rogers game, and I'm pretty sure I'll be watching the Bixby game. I'll probably be watching the Bixby game against Owasso because it's right at TU. And they talking about 22,000 people to watch a high school football game. That is outstanding. That's how much Oklahomans love high school football, especially when you have 2 excellent programs like Owasso and Bixby, which is pretty much the north side versus the south side. They've shut down some players, like they shut down Victor, the 7'5" guy from the San Antonio Spurs. His first game, he had 9 points, 5 blocks, and 7 rebounds. The next game, he had 27 points and 12 rebounds and 6 blocks. So they said, okay, bro, we've seen enough. We shut you down. Let's wait for the season. The NFL tour, I think training camp starts in 2 weeks. The first weekend of August, we'll get the Hall of Fame game. So once again, I'm going to give the 2Dawg public service announcement. All honey-do list needs to be done by you have 6 weeks because football starts August 23rd. So the last week of August, all these honeydews need to be done because most of us is going to be watching some ball. I know I am. I'm going to watch a lot of it. I think I watch probably, I'm going to say on average, I probably watch 5,000 hours of football a year. Easily. Because Saturday, I watch football from 11 o'clock until 10, 11:30 Saturday night. Then I wake up, go to church, come back, and watch football all Sunday. And then we have Thursday night games. We have Friday night games. We have Monday night games. So, 5,000 hours, you're going to be like, that doesn't sound like a lot of, that sounds like a lot of time. There's a lot of football to be watched. But I'm going to close it with this. Sports is just another thing for life. It all has life lessons involved. It's great that children are getting into it and actually trying to progress in the sport. Tulsa has a bunch of talent, and we're trying to just do our small part to let you see from the coach's standpoint and hear the players' names, so y'all can go out and try to watch some of these kids do something positive instead of see them on the news doing something they shouldn't be doing. Let's encourage them and help them and embrace what they're doing, something positive, because we rather see them doing something positive than something negative. You bark at us, we bark back. Woo!
To the beach, y'all.
This is KBOB 89.9 FM, Tulsa, and now streaming 24/7 live from the Eden Media Studio, 24/7 live at KBOB 89.